What's up, everybody? The way that I see it with these 2024 candidates and the reason why there'd be so much debate is I think that they're just being released too preemptively. I don't think you can come up with accurate stats 3 years ahead of time on an election like that. I mean, if you take the specific example of Kamala Harris, if you're releasing her 2024 candidate now, you're not really releasing it off of anything valid. In my opinion, she hasn't really done much yet, but she's getting a lot of bad press. So it's like, what are you supposed to base it off of? The bad press? You're either supposed to base it off of the presumption of bad press or the presumption of how you think people are going to receive her later on, and that's why there would be so much debate. If you wait until closer to when the actual election is, when more stuff has happened, when their policies are more fleshed out, when there's more of a general consensus on how different groups feel about them, that's when the creators and those that are looking at the candidate, have more of like a structured basis to go off of, more proof as to why certain stats should be the way that they are. It's just happening too soon. Some folks are gonna say, well, Kamala should have better stats because she's gonna be received so well. And then you have other people that are saying that Kamala should have bad stats because so far she's not getting good press / hasn't done much. And so if you release the candidate now, it would seem like it would be fair to give her lower stats. Whereas if you wait until later, maybe there will have been more opportunities presented with that individual that would accommodate for higher stats. So I think it's tough to pick the stats because, are you picking the stats now based off of future reception or current reception? And the only reason that's happening is because the candidates are being released too soon. I do think that if they're going to keep releasing 2024 candidates preemptively, I think that the only stats that you can really justify being higher, for example, on a candidate like Kamala, would be like national groups, because that's like institutional money, and in some cases institutional money can be like kind of projected ahead of time, more so maybe than with like a state group. But yeah, in general, I'd like to see them later. I'd like to see the 2024 candidates come maybe late 2022, 2023. I mean, you can have some of them in 2024. I think that some of these candidates are gonna, I feel very confident that some of these 2024 candidates being released now are gonna have to be updated for realism later.
So you want to know why I think Kamala should or should not be a 2024 candidate? Look what the Biden and Kamala administration has done in the short amount of time that they've been in office. If you all think that Kamala would be good for this country, you all have lost your fucking mind. I think that Kamala 2024 is not a good candidate. We need some more common sense back in the White House.
Now, I think her stats are fine, but they could be better. But it's very hard to tell on what stats would be in 2024 because this is just her first year as vice president, and she's been around for a little bit as a senator from California, so you can guess off of her national groups and some state groups, but I think we should wait on 2024 candidates, but TwoSeventy hasn't done that.
I think it's a little too soon for 2024 candidates. It's just not the thing that I want most right now from the game. I'm not going to make a list or anything, but I think the developers' time are much better spent on some of the other things that have been promised since the beginning of the game being on the App Store. And there are about 1,000 candidates in the game right now, and each of the new ones aren't that different play-wise from the ones that already exist. So I'm just not excited about new candidates at all, let alone, somebody with a 24 next to their name. I think it might be cool, and I might be more likely to buy somebody as they actually announce their candidacy. But that's it. That's my hot take.
I do think Kamala Harris 2024 deserves to be in the game. However, she is a very tough sell for me to make her as strong as TwoSeventy decided to make her. I understand the sales aspect of it. They want to make money off of these premium paid for candidates. But to me, she's a vice president that really hasn't done a whole lot. And if anything, I would make her 2024 version weaker than her 2020 version. I think that TwoSeventy should revisit some of these candidates about maybe a future update as we get closer to the midterms and the 2024 presidential election season. But, you know, a lot of people hate on her, and she is the first African-American female vice president in history. She is the current vice president. The game is eventually going to be centered around 2024, although it's still stuck in the land of 2016. So let me know your thoughts in the comments of this video. Do you think Kamala Harris is too strong, too weak, just right? And what do you think about all of these 2024 candidates?
Okay, so my take is the Harris 24 ticket. It's not too bad, but it's probably a bit too strong. And it's mostly because of these two bonuses here. African-American 40% and 25% Latino, I think are just a bit too high. I think 20% African-American and 15% Latino would have been more justifiable for a Harris 2024 sort of candidate. But the rest of the bonuses look about right to me. The penalties look about right as well. Some of those penalties are quite deep as well. So I think this would be a candidate where you would start in New York and then get high-tech, town and gown, Latino, and exports. So it will be an interesting candidate to play with and play against. But yeah, overall, it's probably just a bit too strong. That's my 2 cents. So thanks for watching, guys, and hope you enjoyed watching, and see you next time for TwoSeventy videos.